Yo, I remember back in the day when I heard the truth for the first time. I couldn't believe my ears. So I went in to study to disprove it. And I saw that the Most High was serious. It was like it's like the scales fell off my eyes. Like, oh, he's talking about me. This whole time he was talking about me. I didn't know. So I have to give you more praise, honor, and glory that's due unto his name. Praise Yah, Yahweh Ba, Shema Mashiach, Yahweh Shah. We let Yahweh reign. Yo, this wicked world, the love is lost. We preach Yahweh, they shrug us off. These haters, yo, got they pastors walk. When it was you he's talking to who broke the master's laws. What was the cause? Why was I worth it? I pray y'all give me strength to fight, cause I ain't nothing perfect. I got enough pent up inside to rise above the surface. I got a savior by my side, but y'all don't deserve it. And no joke, I mean, everybody thought I was crazy when I was telling the truth. When I started quoting scriptures and telling them, yo, this is talking about us, they didn't know how to take it. They didn't know what to do about it. You know what I'm saying? Sort of like how Paul said, if I become your enemy by telling you the truth, so be it. For Yah so love is chosen, he gave his son to save him. So I'ma praise him, raise him fast to praise when something changes. I will it in, I'm flipping past a couple pages. He says we win, I'm holding fast this revelation. Is they gon' hate me then if I don't walk the path of Satan? Is that gon' make me bend if all my friends are laughing, hating? What if I drop my sin, repent to Yah and turn to Christ?
Yah let you in, bless you with eternal life.
How do I shake the shame? Heed to the master's call. Won't take me out the game, even if I drop the ball. Online on blocks and malls, I gotta speak to reach you. The living water, bread of life, and some meat to feed you. Here's what I'm trying to say. You can heed the call, repent and keep the laws if you don't die today. But if you die in sin, can't reset and try again. It was like the scales fell off my eyes. Like, yo, he's talking about me. This whole time he was talking about me. I didn't know. So I have to give you more praise, honor, and glory that's due unto his name. Praise Yah, Yahweh Ba, Shema Mashiach, Yahweh Shah. We let Yahweh reign.
Cool. Shabbat shalom. Let's get it going on. The Shabbat we're going to be dealing with being neck deep in idols. A lot of people don't assume or associate the things that they love as idols. The scripture is going to bring it out so that we can address that thing and we can do something about it. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get Wisdom of Solomon chapter 13, and we'll use that for devotion. Right. This is also going to be our focused scripture, okay, as well as Deuteronomy 4. But for now, let's go ahead and get Wisdom of Solomon. Let's get chapter 13. We'll read that in its entirety, as is our custom. But before we do, please, somebody in the comments, let me know if I can be heard. Somebody please put a 1 in the comments if my video and my audio is clear. I did work out a little situation to make my video a little smoother. I know the last few Shabbat Bible studies has been kind of choppy, but hopefully we remedied that. But if you can hear me okay and my video is good, please put a 1 in the comment section. And then if throughout the broadcast, thanks, Brother Jason and Brother Chick and YouTube land, I'm good. If throughout the broadcast, Sister Alice Bronson, thank you. If it gets choppy, just put a 3 in the comments. Put a 3 in the comments. I'll know to go and make some adjustments. Okay. For some reason, Chrome loves to add stuff in the background, and I noticed that that's slowing me down. So yeah, just throughout the broadcast, throughout the stream, if it becomes choppy, put a 3 in there. Um, and we'll handle it accordingly. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 13. For those of you who do not have an apocrypha, you might want to pull it up on your phone. Um, if I can pull up the app that I have it on, I'm pretty sure everybody has the U version app. If you go in the U version app and you select the versions, you go into selecting versions, so on and so forth. You click the KJV AAE, that's the King James Version with the Apocrypha, American Edition. You'll have the missing 14 books that's not in your regular KJV. So you always have that at your disposal. But the Wisdom of Solomon is in your Apocrypha. Um, if you don't have it, I'm pretty sure if you can see the screen, you can read along with us. All right, without further ado, let's get into it. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 13, starting at verse 1, it says, Surely vain are all men by nature who are ignorant of God, and could not, out of the good things that are seen, know him that is. Neither by considering the works did they acknowledge the workmaster, but deemed either fire or wind or swift air, or the circle of the stars, or the violent water, or the lights of heaven, to be gods which govern the world, with whose beauty, if they being delighted, took them to be gods. Let them know how much better the Lord of them is. For the first author of beauty hath created them. But if they were astonished at their power and virtue, let them understand by them how much mightier he is that made them. Right? Slakia, let me read that again. But if they were astonished at their power and virtue, let them understand by them how much mightier he is that made them. For by the greatness and beauty of the creatures, proportionately, the maker of them is seen. But yet, for this they are less to be blamed, for they peradventure err, seeking God, and desirous to find him. For being conversant in his works, they search him diligently, and believe their sight, because the things are beautiful that are seen. Howbeit neither are they to be pardoned. For if they were able to know so much that they could aim at the world, how did they not sooner find out the Lord thereof? But miserable are they in the dead things, and their hope is their hope. Salakia. But miserable are they, and in dead things is their hope, who called them gods, which are the works of men's hands, gold and silver, to show an art and resemblance of beasts, or a stone good for nothing, the work of an ancient hand. Now a carpenter that felleth timber, right? Let me say that. Let me start again. Verse 11. Now a carpenter that felleth timber, after he hath sawn down a tree meet for the purpose, and taken off all the bark skillfully round about, and have wrought it handsomely, and made a vessel thereof fit for the service of man's life. And after spending the refuse of his work to dress his meat, hath filled himself, and taking the very refuse among those which serve to no use, being a crooked piece of wood, and full of knots, have carved it diligently, when he had nothing else to do, and formed it by the skill of his understanding, and fashioned it to the image of a man, or made it like some vile beast, laying it over with vermilion, and with paint coloring it red, and covering every spot therein. And when he had made a covenant room for it, set it in a wall, and made it fast with iron, for he provided it that it might not fall, knowing that it was unable to help itself, for it is an image, and have need of help. Then maketh he prayer for his goods, and his wife and his children, and is not ashamed to speak to that which has no life. For health he calleth upon that which is weak, for life prayeth to that which is dead. For aid humbleth beseecheth that which has least means to help. And for a good journey he asks of that which cannot set a foot forward. And for gaining and getting, and for good success of his hands asketh ability to do of him that is most unable to do anything. All right, all right. So that's the Most High's word, already blessed, and we are good to go. Let me get the slides together, and then we'll take it from there. Neck deep in idols. That's why I thought it was fitting to start with Solomon, the Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 13. Um, because he goes into it and he gets real deep. Matter of fact, we're going to take the first section of Solomon 13 and we're going to slow that down. We're going to slow that down. There's a lot of meat in there that we're going to unpack. If the Most High willing, we won't be here all day. All right. But this is the whole Shabbat Bible study. Why most don't consider that what they practice is idolatry. Why? Because simple fact. This next screen tells it all. The Most High won't play second fiddle to anything in your life. All right. The Most High will not play second fiddle to anything in your life. Understand the first thing Wisdom of Solomon was dealing with was the worship of nature, right? And he was pointing out the fact that, okay, you see the beauty in all of these things and you're making a special spectacle of these things, but have you considered the one who created those things to begin with? Hmm? He says in the beginning, he says, it is ignorant. I mean, it's vain for all men by nature, all right, who are ignorant of God, all right, and could not. Now, let me get there. Let me get there. Surely vain are all men by nature who are ignorant of Elohim and could not out of the good things that are seen know him that is. Neither by considering the works did they acknowledge the work master. All right. All good things come from the Most High Yah. That's why he said, and let's matter of fact, let's get that real quick. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 10. Okay. Because there's something very, 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 very important that he says in Jeremiah chapter 10 that a lot of people miss. Okay. And starting that second verse, he says, thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, neither be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. All right. The heathen are dismayed at them. Why does the Most High constantly have to remind his children, all right, not to be or look in awe at the things that the nations look in awe? Hmm? For the simple fact, over and over again, his children, all right, always wanted to be like the nations around them. Always. Don't want to be themselves, okay? And the Most High set them apart to worship him and him only, but want to be like every nation that's round about them. So what is in the first 10 commandments? Thou shalt not do what? Create for yourselves any engraven images. All right. Now, those who don't belong to the Most High, the nations, okay, the Goyim, in your Hebrew it says Goyim, but that word is translated to heathen or nations or what have you, right? The Most High doesn't, you know what I'm saying, doesn't penalize them for that. That's there. He gave, matter of fact, I wish I had the address to the scripture where he says he gave gods to other nations to worship, all right? But at the end of the day, he tells you, do not be dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them, right? What are the signs from heaven? We're talking about things like the sun. That's why you have sun worship. You have some people who worship Venus and all of these other so on and so forth, where you get the word Saturn for Saturday, things of that nature. Okay, you have people who worship nature. But listen to what he says. Let me keep reading. He says, this is, and they do this by nature. Like the nations do this because they have no knowledge of Elohim, right? And the only way for the nations to have a knowledge of Elohim is through Israel. Okay. So understand, he says, surely vain are all men by nature who are ignorant of God, right? They don't know anything about Elohim. So when we come to this winter solstice, okay, or you do know what the winter solstice is, right? Or matter of fact, when we get to what they call whatever, how we got into the pagan worship of Christmas. If we go into that whole situation, all right. And that all of that has to do with sun worship, divine sun worship, so on and so forth. So it's almost impossible to pull our people out of that because they want to be and always have like the other nations, right? They can't let it go. They can't set themselves apart. Yes, we have holidays we can celebrate of our own that are in the scriptures. Okay. But they don't celebrate any of those. Our people don't want to celebrate any of those, but we want to do what the nations are doing. Okay. But understand that is idol worship, right? That's being, okay, dismayed at the signs of heaven, right? For the heathen are dismayed at them. But listen to what he says. He says, neither by considering the works did they acknowledge the work master. All right. When you have a creation, there's evidence right there that there is a creator. Okay. You have some religions who worship nature, all right, and they call the creator God an idol God, right? And they assume that the idol God has given authority to these, what you would call Greek mythology, Greek mythological gods. They assume that the creator God gave authority to those other gods to manage the planet, so on and so forth. So you'll have different cultures worshiping um different things, right? I don't know if you ever watched that series, and I'm not trying to promote it, but it is deep if you are spiritually strong enough to deal with it. But it's called American Gods, right? The show American Gods on HBO Max. If you're spiritually up to two, you can watch something like that and not be drawn into it. But it gives a great depiction on how different cultures celebrate different gods, right? And they forget and give all kinds of credit to these created things and not the creator himself. All right. So he says, neither by considering the works did they acknowledge the work master. All right. But deemed either fire or wind or the swift air or the circle of the stars, okay, or the violent water or the lights of heaven to be the gods which govern the world. Okay. That's deep. That's deep. Neck deep in idols. All right. In that third verse, he says, with whose beauty, if they being delighted, took them to be gods, right? Let them let them know how much better the Lord of them is. What is he saying right there? Okay. What is he saying right there? He's simply saying that people assume something is great by the look of it, by the beauty of it. What was the thing that Israel asked Aaron for when Moses went up Mount Sinai? Hmm? They wanted a God like the other nations, right? And Aaron told them to give them all your gold, give them your earrings, so on and so forth. And they fashioned the golden calf. And the blasphemy, right? Understand the blasphemy, because first of all, it was already wrong to build the calf, but the blasphemy was when they said, "Here is the God that delivered you out of Egypt." Okay. All of the credit that went to the Most High, that was supposed to be bestowed upon the Most High, went to the golden calf, right? And what do people see when they see gold? Their eyes pop, all right? They're dismayed and they think this thing is beautiful, right? Look at it. He says, with whose beauty, if they being delighted, took them to be gods, let them know how much better the Lord of them is. For the first author of beauty has created them, right? So everything that you assume is beautiful had a creator. That's dope. I love Solomon. He says in verse 4, but if they were astonished at their power and virtue, let them understand by them how much mightier he is that made them. That's why we read further, and he was like, these people are dependent on gods that can't move. First of all, if you have to fashion it with nails that it moves not, that means you had to help it. How you praying to it to help you? Saturnalia. All right. That's what I was looking for, Brother Chick. Thank you for that. And Brother Emmanuel says December 21st is the winter solstice. All right. Right. So all of those things is what has our people neck deep in idols, and they don't consider that, right? They don't consider when the Most High tells you to keep his law, statutes, and commandments, that he's pulling you out of that thing. But let's keep it moving. Let's go. Nature worship, right? Nature worship is a system of religion based on the veneration of natural phenomena. All right. For example, celestial objects such as the sun and moon, and terrestrial objects such as water and fire. Right. Those are gods to a lot of people. And I remember I had a good brother that was on Facebook trying to rationalize with me why the Africans, because he wanted to be Afrocentric or Pan-African or whatnot, why they worship the sun. All right. It's because it was life sustaining, so on and so forth. And then that was really all they knew. Okay. But that's why Solomon broke it down. Okay. These people are ignorant of the one who created those things. Right. So he says, by nature, they worship the sun. Okay. They have to give, if they're living off the land, if they're hunter gatherers, so on and so forth, they have to give the fortune to something. Right. Solomon said that they're diligently seeking. Right. They're diligently seeking. So let's get to that 6th verse. Let's jump down to verse 6. Okay. Jump down to verse 6. He says, but yet for this they are less to be blamed. Right. Because remember, he said they're ignorant of God. He says, so for this they are less to be blamed, for they peradventure err, seeking God. Right. Their error, of course, they want to give credit where credit is due, but they err, seeking Elohim. Okay. And desirous to find him. Right. So they understand that they're being sustained by life, so on and so forth, but they're misappropriating the credit. Right. And verse 7, he says, for being conversant in his works, they search him diligently and believe their sight. Okay. They believe their sight because the things are beautiful that are seen. What do you think? Where do you think the saying comes from when they be like, man, it's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. The sun is shining normally in that time, right? That summertime is most people's favorite time of the year, right? The comfort. We're creatures of comfort, so on and so forth. But look, he says, and they believe their sight. But how does faith come? Because a lot of people can't understand Elohim today because they're judging everything by what they see with their eyes. Not knowing that the creator who brought us from one Sabbath to the next Sabbath, all right, sustained us, the one that has us in our homes, all right, with food and with warmth, all right, and we're protected from this storm, all right, they misappropriate the credit. They're basing everything off of what they see, right? But a lot of people who know that there is an Elohim, all right, honor him, okay, with their mouths, but their hearts are far from him. Because why? If they loved him, what would they do? They would keep his commandments. They would obey his voice, right? So it's one thing. This is why I say you're stooped in idols. It's one thing to say out of your mouth that you believe in God, but then with your feet, you're following after all of these idols. We broke down Christianity, the beginning of it, the origin of it, the sun worship within it. All right. We told you can't dress up a pig with lipstick and call it something else. Right. We told you that that's all sun worship. That all started with Tammuz. All right. So the disrespectful thing is the same thing that I brought out before with the calf. When you took the golden calf and said, here is the God that delivered you from Egypt. Whenever you give a false God the Most High Yah's credit, right, that's disrespectful. But he says they're not to blame. All right. He says they're not to blame, for they peradventure error, seeking Elohim and desirous to find him. But now when we jump down to verse 8, okay, verse 8 says it like this: howbeit, neither are they to be pardoned. Right? You're You're not going to let the Most High play second fiddle to anything and then you go unpunished. All right. Yes, they are devoted to discover Elohim, but that doesn't mean they won't be punished. See, people think this Christmas thing is an innocent thing. Okay. The Christmas spirit is a real spirit. That Christmas spirit has you obligated. Now you feel obligated to do it for the children, to go broke for the children. Okay. Giving them everything that you never got instead of teaching them everything you didn't know. Look at verse 9. He says, for if they were able to know so much, right? They know so much about the sun and the moon and the cycles and this and that, right? They know how to plant. They know how to plan for a harvest, okay, and when to sow. And they know so much. He says, for if they were able to know so much that they could aim at the world, how did they not sooner find out the Lord thereof? He basically left them without an excuse, right? He left them without an excuse. How can you know so much about this, that, and the third? That's why I stopped arguing with people who say that there's no God, but then believe in science, right? And then if in the science community, if you believe in intelligent design, they'll laugh you out of there. So what are you really discovering? You're discovering something. This is the thing. These people are discovering things trying to disprove Elohim. Okay. But the more they try to disprove him, the more that they prove him. You have to have those eyes that Solomon is talking about right now. Because how could you know so much? For if they were able to know so much that they could aim at the world, how did they not sooner find out the Lord thereof? Making and worshiping an idol. Look at verse 10. He says, but miserable are they, and in dead things is their hope. Miserable are they, and in dead things is their hope, who call them gods, which are the works of man's hands. Right? Gold and silver to show art in. And the resemblance of beasts. You know what I meant to put up here? I meant to put that Jesus piece up on the screen. Because these people swear up and down that they believe in the Father and the Son because they got the Jesus piece. Right? And then in the hip hop community, whoever has the biggest Jesus piece with the most diamonds flexed all through it, all right? Come on, is doing the most. You're neck deep in idols. That thing that you think represents your faith, you're going to burn for that. You're going to pay for that. He says, which are the works of man's hands, gold and silver, to show art in, and resemblance of beasts or stone good for nothing, the work of an ancient hand. And the saddest part about all of it is because when somebody makes an idol, all right, and they make something nice and they want to put it on their body and hang it on a chain or whatnot, right? A lot of people assume that that's innocent. A lot of people assume that's innocent. No, there's a deity. That's why he said right here, the work of an ancient hand. That didn't fly out of nowhere. Okay. If you do enough research, you'll understand when women call themselves divas, right? That's a real thing. Okay. When brothers call themselves thugs, that's ancient. Tupac didn't make that up. Okay. So these idols that you think are innocent, and there's nothing behind it, there's definitely something behind it. That's why the Most High said, don't even put yourself in that position. Matter of fact, when we went into Acts, when we was traveling and following Paul through his travels, remember that he shut down the idol workers. the idol makers, the silversmiths. Remember, he shut down the silversmiths and they wanted to kill him because he messed up their money. But how did he do that? He brought the people into the revelation of the true creator. The true creator. So when the people had knowledge of who the true creator was, they had no more need for silver idols made by man's hands. So they started going out of business. These people, before Paul arrived, were ignorant of Elohim and by nature. Solomon broke it down. He said, by nature, we're seeking Elohim. Come on, somebody. Right? But look at what he says. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 4 real quick. Okay. Deuteronomy chapter 24, verse 23. He says, guard yourselves, lest you forget the covenant of Yahweh your Elohim, which he made with you. Now, it's deep, because when you go into why the Most High said not to give your sons and your daughters to other nations, not to marry strange women, what was the reason for that? Because they was going to turn their hearts away from Elohim and have them worshiping idols. Okay. Look at what he says. He says, guard yourselves. Those things that are attractive to your eyes, that you think there's nothing behind that's innocent. No, guard yourselves. There's something behind that. There's something behind that. Matter of fact, just because you don't believe in hoodoo and voodoo and witch doctors and all of that other stuff, okay, they believe in it. And guess what? It works. There's something behind that. There's a mysterious power behind that. But the Most High said, guard yourselves, lest you forget the covenant of Yahweh your Elohim. Now, that's why the first thing I brought out was the fact that when you are in covenant with the Most High Yah, he separates you from that. The one thing that's going to keep you from idol worship and destruction is you obeying the Most High's law, statutes, and commandments. Okay? What does he love? What does he hate? First of all, since people like to be like, they want to talk against the supposed, we know that there's not 613 laws, but the supposed 613 laws. Well, let's stick with the laws that God wrote with his finger, the 10 commandments. Okay, well, let's go there. Okay. First one was what? You shall have no gods before me. Okay. What was the second one? You should not create for yourselves any engraven. It's right there for your protection. Okay. You should not take the name of the Most High Yah in vain. But listen to what he says. Guard yourselves, lest you forget the covenant of Yahweh your Elohim, which he made with you, and shall make for yourselves a carved image in any form. That's an old rugged cross that you think is innocent. Any form. Okay. That's also that Star David. It is. A lot of people don't really understand how new that 6-point star is. Because if you dig a little older in the history, it was 8 points at one point. Okay, there's something behind that. He says, guard yourselves, lest you forget the covenant of Yahweh your Elohim, which he made with you, and shall make for yourselves a carved image in any form, as Yahweh your Elohim has commanded you. Okay. Let's keep going. Let's go to verse 24. He says, for Yahweh your Elohim is a consuming fire. Okay. He is a consuming fire. When you bring forth children and grandchildren, and shall grow old in the land, and shall do corruptly, and make a carved image in the form of whatever. Okay. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Whatever. And shall do what is evil in the eyes of Yahweh your Elohim to provoke him. He says, I shall call the heavens and earth to witness against you on that day, that you soon completely perish from the land which you pass over the Jordan to possess. You do not prolong your days in it, but are completely destroyed. Okay. That's how serious the Most High is about it. He's not going to play second fiddle to anything. And he says, don't even put yourself in that predicament. Don't even put yourself in that predicament. Let's keep reading. Let's go to verse 27. It says, and Yahweh shall what? Scatter you among the peoples, and you shall be left few in number among the nations where Yahweh drives you. Okay. Fast forward to today, while people be like, back in the Bible days. No, you still in the Bible days. Okay. And the idol worship is the consequence of how you got here. There's a reason to everything. Before, when they told us that our history started with slavery, we just fell out the sky, landed in slave ships. We had no history prior to slavery. Okay. That's why they keep feeding us slavery movies. Because they want us to remember that part, but not think past having a history beyond. No, we are in this predicament based on the curses of Deuteronomy, okay, 28, right? And the idol worship of our forefathers, okay? So this is how we found ourselves here in America. He says, and Yahweh shall scatter you among the peoples, and you shall be left few in number among the nations where Yahweh drives you. He says, and there you shall serve mighty ones, serve gods, the works of man's hands, wood and stone. The wood is the old rugged cross. The stone is the Muslims' cobblestone. So when they be like, well, you was Muslim before you came to America. Yeah, I know. But that was your first slave religion. You was a slave in Islam over in the motherland. So when you come to America, now you a slave in Christianity. And neither one of those, and both of those are prophesied. None of that, and all of that is sun. One is sun worship, the other is the moon worship. The same thing Solomon was dealing with when we first started this study. He says, to finish that off, which neither see nor hear nor eat nor smell. Let's keep it moving. He says the point of the study, right, is found in Jeremiah chapter 50 and 6. Because you love what's killing you. You're neck deep in idols. Neck deep in idols. Jeremiah 50 and 6 says, my people have been a lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. They have turned them from on the mountains. They have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place. Matter of fact, let's grab some scriptures real quick. Let's grab some scriptures. Let's dig in our Bibles. Let's get 1 Peter chapter 1, 15 through 16. Okay. So what does he tell you? Instead, that's why he tells you to stay away from, don't be dismayed at what the heathen is dismayed with. Okay. The sun, moon, and the stars and all of those things, right? He said, instead, as the one who called you is set apart, so you also should be set apart in all behavior, because it is written, be set apart, for I am set apart. I know your KJV says, be holy, for I am holy. We went all through churchianity not knowing what he was talking about. But now we know that means to be set apart. The only way to be set apart is by keeping his word, doing what he said to do. All right. Let's get 2 Corinthians chapter 6, looking at verses 14 through 17. He says, do not become unevenly yoked with unbelievers. Okay. Very familiar scripture. He says, for what partnership has righteousness with lawlessness? Right. You can't dress that idol up and act like it's innocent. Ain't nothing innocent about it. Okay. You can't sit up there and join these people that are in sun worship. Okay. They're confederate. They're united in sun worship. You talk to them about Feast of Dedication, they don't want to hear it. You talk to them about Passover, they ain't trying to be a part of it. Unleavened bread, what you talking about? But get them the winter solstice. Okay. Get them Saturnalia. They all with it. Just call it Jesus' birthday. No. Do not become unevenly yoked with unbelievers. For what partnership has righteousness with unrighteousness? That word unrighteousness means lawlessness. Okay. And what fellowship has light with darkness? What agreement has the Messiah with Belial? Okay. Or what does a believer have with an unbeliever? How is it you and the unbeliever are both celebrating Jesus' birthday? What agreement? Right? What union has the dwelling place of Elohim with idols? I remember talking with Pastor Hunt. He said, we ain't got no idols in here. I looked at his stained glass. I said, there's 1, 2, and 3, and they was all white people. We ain't got no idols in here. You got idols all over the place. For as you are the dwelling place of the living Elohim, as Elohim has said, I shall dwell in them, walk among them, and I shall be their Elohim, and they shall be my people. Therefore, come out from among them and be separate, says Yahweh, and do not touch what is unclean, and I shall receive you. Right? We didn't write it. We just got a better understanding and a deeper conviction about it. So that's why we obey it. Right? Looking back at Deuteronomy chapter 4, look at what he says. Okay. Because I know I had this earlier in the slide when I was talking about it, but I'm glad that I brought it back. It says, therefore, diligently guard yourselves, for you saw no form when Yahweh spoke to you at Horeb out of the midst of the fire, lest you should do corruptly and should make for yourselves a carved image in the form of any figure, the likeness of male or female, the likeness of any beast that is that is on the earth, or the likeness of any winged bird that flies in the heavens, the likeness of any creature that creeps on the ground, or the likeness of any fish that is in the water underneath the earth, unless you lift up your eyes to the heavens and shall see the sun and the moon and the stars, all the host of heaven, and you be drawn away into bowing down to them and serving them, which Yahweh your Elohim has allotted to all the people under all the heavens. Right? There is nothing set apart about you worshiping something that the Most High gave everybody. But guess what? He didn't give everybody. Let's get it real quick. Psalms 147. Y'all know where I'm going. Psalms 147 verses, y'all should know it by now by heart, 19 and 20. This is what he didn't give everybody. He showeth his word unto Jacob, right? He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He has not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye Yahweh, right? But as far as it comes, when it comes to the sun, the moon, and the stars, all the hosts of heaven, you be drawn away into bowing down to them and serving them, which Yahweh your Elohim has allotted to all the people under the heavens. Okay, that ain't nothing special. Now look beyond those things that were created and discover the one who created them. That's what he's telling you. It's a beautiful thing when you learn how to give the Most High all the praise, honor, and glory. Look at Jeremiah 17 and 4. He says, and you, even yourself, shall discontinue, okay, shall let go of your inheritance, which I gave you, and I shall make you to serve your enemies in the land which you have not known, for you have kindled a fire in my displeasure, which burns forever. Verse 5, thus says Yahweh, cursed is the man who trusts in man and makes flesh his arm, and whose heart turns away from Yah. Deep. Now, at this point, there's this video I had prepared. I wanted to play it, and I will fix it to where we can get the screen going for y'all in here. It's all a part of my elaborate plan. Let me find it. Oh, there it is. Let me get that to you. One second. Let me find the play button and I'm good.
Barbie.
All new at 5, parents raising concerns over a popular holiday gift. One Green Country family says there was an unexpected feature on a male doll given to their daughter for Christmas. Katie.
Mike, Amy Rose bought her daughter a gift she was really wanting. LOL surprise dolls. When she opened them, they were definitely surprised by what they saw.
To the naked eye, you won't notice too much. They're just your typical toy. But it's what happens when you add a little ice water that's got parents hot.
And my 5-year-old has a doll that looks like she's wearing bondage now.
You guys. Oh my God. Are you serious? Like you guys see this, right? This is not fake.
Breast pedals, fishnet, tattoos, and what some call lingerie exposed when the little dolls are dipped in ice water.
Do you see that? Tail and wings.
True colors fly at Rainbow High. Rainbow High. Rainbow High. Dolls each sold separately. You can collect the rainbow. Shadow High, now we're around. Who's the top school in town? Chanel Onyx designs high fashion. And me, Luna Madison, film is my passion. But there's a little secret about me. Bad, very, very bad. See you in the shadows. Rainbow High. Shadow High, dolls each sold separately. Let your true colors shine.
As we progress further into Yah's season of judgment, which coincides with the elite's great reset, we're now entering into an era which the famous illuminist Alice Bailey referred to as the externalization of the hierarchy. So it's no wonder that this Christmas and this holiday season are beginning to take on more dark, more sadistic spiritual undertones.
Dons the iconic red suit and white beard as none other than Santa Claus in the new Christmas thriller Violent Night.
It's Christmas! We decided that you could have one gift early.
What is it?
That is a direct hotline to Santa Claus himself.
I can talk to Santa.
Time for some season's beatings.
I believe in you, Santa.
What are you going to do this fine Christmas Eve?
I was potentially going to go meet up with a dude.
Have you heard from the boys down at the scene yet? They're still down there counting bodies.
They have to tell you, so that on the day of judgment, when the accuser points his finger, you can't say, I didn't know.
Though many companies are incorporating a darker element in their ads for this Christmas season, one fashion brand has truly infused all the hidden pagan horrors of Christmas in their latest ad campaign.
Their Christmas ad campaign included pictures of a child with a... Balenciaga is one of the world's most expensive clothing brands in the world, and for some reason, their Christmas ad campaign included pictures of a child with a bear. When you zoom on the bear, it's dressed, shall we say, unusually.
So last week, Balenciaga featured this campaign on their website as part of their Christmas campaign, which was actually targeting children. They're trying to market these teddy bears to children. The teddy bears were covered in bondage, BDSM gear.
People who know about these things say its outfit is inspired by bondage outfits used in certain sex acts. This, in and of itself, is troubling.
Balenciaga. Balenciaga is what they call a luxury brand.
This morning, fashion house Balenciaga, a favorite of stars like Kim Kardashian, Bella Hadid, and Nicole Kidman,
You're probably not doing your back-to-school shopping at Balenciaga, but some people apparently are. So this week, Balenciaga rolled out a new ad campaign on Instagram. One photograph showed a very young girl lying face down on a couch with candles, empty wine glasses, and a dog collar on a coffee table in front of her. Another picture showed the same girl, a toddler, holding a teddy bear dressed in sexual bondage gear, including a leather harness. And then, in case you missed the point, we're for pedophilia at Balenciaga. Another picture made it explicit. That picture showed pages from a Supreme Court opinion that struck down a law designed to fight child pornography. Whoever staged the photo shoot made certain to include a portion of that opinion that used the word sex or sexual 4 times. And of course, that was not an accident. Balenciaga wanted you to notice.
There was also a picture of a woman with black eyes and clearly looked like they'd been abused and assaulted. That was the theme. They were trying to glorify that and glamorize it and trying to normalize it, just like the kids holding the bondage teddy bears. So I definitely think Balenciaga has very dark kind of things going on. And in 2016, one of the people that recruited all of the models for Balenciaga's runway show was a woman called Rachel Chandler, who has been on Jeffrey Epstein's island. She's even posted a picture on Instagram of CCTV footage back in 2013, bragging about being on an island. And if you look at her modeling agency, every single one of the models looks like a trafficking victim.
Another one of Balenciaga's main stylists and designers responsible for their photo shoots is Lada Volkova. Her work focuses on themes of violence, abuse, domination, centering around adolescent children.
And their daughters to pass through the fire unto Molech, which I commanded them not, neither came it into my mind that they should do this abomination, to cause Judah to sin. And they forsook the Lord God of their fathers, which brought them out of the land of Egypt, and followed other gods, of the gods of the people that were round about them, and bowed themselves unto.
Spelling Baal, Balenciaga.
Baal, sometimes referred to as Baal, is an ancient Canaanite deity who was worshipped through blood-curdling rituals of child sacrifice. But why bring all this out during a Christmas campaign?
Their Christmas ad campaign
as part of their Christmas campaign.
Holiday campaign.
Sometime around 1250 BC, on entering the land of Canaan, the Israelites came into contact with the inhabitants of the land who worshipped a pantheon of gods, including the horned, hoof-footed fertility god Baal, who was the son of the Canaanite god El and Ashtaroth or Ishtar. Historically, the celebration of Baal took place 9 months after the fertility festivals of Ishtar, symbolizing the birth of a god, the son of El, following the insemination of the goddess and the 9-month gestation period. Child sacrifice by incineration and ceremonial orgies were common in the cult of Baal.
And they built the high places of Baal, which are in the valley of the son of Hinnom, to cause their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire unto Molech, which I commanded them not, neither came it into my mind that they should do this abomination, to cause Judah to sin. And they forsook the Lord God of their fathers, which brought them out of the land of Egypt, and followed other gods, of the gods of the people that were round about them, and bowed themselves unto them, and provoked the Lord to anger. And they forsook the Lord, and served Baal and Ashtaroth.
December 25th, Christmas, is 9 months after the fertility rituals of Ishtar, Easter, which is...
Now, I'm glad she just said that, because I wanted to bring out a point. This dude said, I don't know if you know him, what is his name? Damon Butts. He's a urban apologetic. I think it was last year when we was bringing out, is my mic? Yeah, my mic's on. We was bringing out how Christmas is pagan, so on and so forth. If you actually read the scriptures, you know that Christ wasn't born, you know what I'm saying, during the winter solstice, so on and so forth. And we brought out all of the coincidences of Mithras and Nimrod and all of them having the birthday of December 25th, showing them Saturnalia. How all of this stuff is not a coincidence, bringing all of this out. So this guy, this urban apologetic brother, Damon Butts, got up on Facebook and posted Urban Apologetics breakdown on how Christ was conceived during Passover, and that 9 months, not during Easter, is because they celebrate Easter. So they're, you know what I'm saying, he's not connecting the fact that we're dealing with two demonic gods. All right. First of all, you said he was conceived in Easter, and 9 months later you have Christmas, and you think that's a coincidence? But that brother tried to prove that Christ was born in the wintertime and then told everybody to not listen to us and calm down and have a Merry Christmas. So I just wanted to say that. Yeah.
Which is represented by rabbits. Uncoincidentally, Christmas is the celebration of the birth of a son. But whose son is really being celebrated?
In the Northern Hemisphere during late December, the days are at their shortest lengths and the nights are at their longest. For those of the pagan world, this has always been the greatest time of the year to celebrate and practice the works of darkness. The pagan calendar identifies this period as the winter solstice. Witchcraft traditions hold that a number of pagan gods were given birth during this period, including Dionysus, Attis, and Baal, chief male god of fertility and licentiousness. Mithra was said to have been born specifically on December 25th. Mithra was the god of the unconquerable sun, the god of the light between heaven and earth, worshipped at that time by an influential Roman cult. His birth symbolized an end to the long nights and a return to the dominance of the sun. During the month-long winter solstice celebration, courts in Rome were closed. Any and all crimes were allowed. Homosexuality, cross-dressing, and uncontrolled debauchery reigned supreme. By 270 AD, the Roman Emperor Aurelian had made it official, setting aside a 7-day period from December the 17th through the 24th, culminating in an exchange of gifts on December the 25th to celebrate the birth of the sun god. This Roman orgy to end all orgies later became known as Saturnalia. Roman soldiers invading Britain brought with them their pagan orgiastic traditions. By the 4th century, the influential government-sanctioned Church of Rome chose instead to adopt them into their so-called official Christianity. Up until this time, the birthday of Jesus Christ had not been celebrated at all. Ignoring scriptures, however, indicating that the birth probably did not occur during the winter, the church nevertheless confused biblical history and made Jesus' birthday coincide with the pagan god Mithra. The birth date of the sun god had now become the birth date of the Son of God. The church's practice of changing the dates of Christian events to coincide with pagan festivals continued, and by the 7th century, Pope Gregory I had ordered Augustine of Canterbury to incorporate any and all pagan practices and customs into the expanding Roman Catholic Church. During the Middle Ages, the debased Mardi Gras atmosphere of what was now known as Christ's Mass had reached a fevered pitch. Common practices included open sex in the streets, rioting, murder, and a number of pagan druidic Halloween rituals. Today's tradition of the Christmas Yule log stems directly from the worship of the pre-Christian Scandinavian fertility god Yule. The burning of this phallic idol is also responsible for the concept of the 12 days of Christmas, which represented the 12 daily sacrifices offered up in the Yule log's flames.
Another good example of the pagan elements of Christmas is the whole concept of Yule and the Yule log. The very term is derived from a Norse god, Yule, spelled J-U-L. And every year around Christmas time, a huge log was cut down and fashioned into a fertility symbol and then burned for 12 days. And on each successive day, a new sacrifice to the god Yule was performed in the fire, and a new sacrificial victim was burned to death. Sometimes, but not always, these sacrificial victims were human beings. And the whole notion of the 12 days of Christmas also comes to us from this Norse pagan tradition.
In an attempt to blur the origins of this horrific ritual, the Church of Rome placed the first day of the Mass of Christ on December 25th and the 12th day on January the 6th. Despite no scriptural references for January the 6th, it was selected as the day the wise men supposedly arrived to offer gifts to the newborn Christ.
All right, that's enough of that. I'm hopefully y'all pretty much get the point of that. Hopefully y'all get the point of that. You are knee deep in idols. All right, knee deep in idols. And with that being the case, if that doesn't say it right there, if that doesn't spell it out, I don't know what else to say. I mean, he even broke down the whole the Yuletide, the 12 days of Christmas, and that whole business. They were making sacrifices for what he say for 12 days leading up to it. I always wondered where the concept of that on the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me, that whole situation. You know what I'm saying? Go back into the history of it. It's all dark. It's all demonic. The Most High says, stay away from it. He told you that, trying to protect you. All right. That being the case, man, we're going to go ahead and call that the conclusion. We're going to call that the conclusion. And yeah, man, my people is knee deep in idol worship. And the simple fact that our people can't let it go is because they're putting those things before the Most High, right? They're putting those things before the Most High. So that being the case, Brother Chick, come in and give us some wisdom out.
Absolutely, bro. Great lesson, right on time. Been with this season coming up. It's always good to hear to put reminders out there. A couple things I took out of the lesson was just we don't realize the power of idolatry, and we should, because it's the very first thing that brought us down. That Adam and Eve treated the tree of life as an idol. They wanted to get to that next stage of awakening prior to the Most High's will. I feel like that's what we get caught up in a lot with idolatry. When you look at the things we try to do in worship, you look at this new age movement and all that, it's like we all want this spiritual awakening, but we don't want it the Most High's way on the Most High's time, not realizing his time is the right way to do it, because there's things we're not ready for yet. It takes me back to parenting, how our kids want to grow up too fast, and we're telling them, you're not ready for this, not to hold you back, but because I know you're not ready to learn this yet. You don't have the wisdom and the discernment to take this step yet. And to me, that's a huge thing we do with all this idolatry, whether it be, praying to this God or that God, where we're going to take this drug, or you hear everybody's big into these mushrooms and all that. We trying to get to some level of awakening that we think's out there that's not natural. It's not the way the Most High intended. It's something we are not ready for, but we continue to do it. I was thinking about what you said about, we take lightly some things that shouldn't be taken lightly, whether it be type of clothes we wear and what it says, jewelry that we get caught up in. And it's like a lot of us, I get it. A lot of us think I'm strong enough to handle that. And maybe you are. But like Isaiah 49:6 says, not only are we supposed to be lights to our own people, but we're supposed to be lights to the Gentiles as well. Maybe they're not strong enough. Maybe the people we're around aren't strong enough to see us in certain settings. And maybe we should be doing a better job of making sure that the message we put across and the example we put across is beneficial to them. Not just our children, sometimes our peers, sometimes our friends, sometimes, our older family members. It's one of those things where, it's not about being caught up when everybody thinks, but if we're supposed to be an example coming to this truth, and that is a true blessing in this world, because we're being programmed and hypnotized not to see things. But if we're able to, maybe we should take the responsibility of trying to be an example, not being perfect, but realizing that if somebody looks to us as an example and they see us in a situation that confuses them, maybe we need to be taking that into account, into context, and realize it's not always about what we're strong enough for and what we have discernment for, but the people that we're supposed to be trying to help, what they're strong enough and have discernment for. But that's all I got. I feel like it's straightforward, man. I appreciate it. I do think it's right on time. I was watching a Christmas video earlier today that headed right into this, and I'm gonna make sure to share this with my family. So I appreciate you, bro.
Khan, we'll appreciate you too, bro. Thanks for that wisdom. And I shared the link to that video that I was playing. It's by a YouTuber called Shattered Paradise. So shout out to Shattered Paradise for that wonderful video. But yeah, brother Chick, we'll appreciate that. And a lot of people do kind of glance past the fact that they're strong enough for it. But yeah, the next person might not be, right? And then that's why I love the way Solomon broke that down, how, the people that are ignorant of God by nature, they're drawn to those things to worship. And they call those things beautiful. But at the end of the day, the Most High gave us the information to give to them. And we are to tell the truth, whether it fills the room or it clears it out, right? We're to tell the truth, whether it fills the room or it clears it out. And a lot of our people will come out of idolatry once they hear the truth of it, you know what I'm saying? Or once they accept the truth of it. It's one thing to hear it. Okay. Like the brother Emmanuel Bronson said earlier, he said, faith comes by hearing and hearing by the word of Elohim. Okay. It's one thing for you to hear the word, but then apply nothing behind it. You know what I'm saying? It's for nothing. But you have been warned about those idols, those things that you're taking lightly, thinking there's no power behind it. There's something behind it. There's something behind the scenes. And just like how we showed the video and it was given the education or the history of the Yuletide, the 12 days of Christmas, the whole gift giving, right? When that whole thing started, when they actually started trying to say it was Christ's birthday, all right? For those who love to say, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, okay? The baby wasn't ever in there. Don't throw the baby in with Mithras and Baal, okay? And the Yuletide, human sacrifices, all right? Don't throw the baby in with that, all right? But that's neither here nor there. That's the lesson. We got to get out of this idol worship. Call it, you know what I'm saying? Call a spade a spade. It is what it is. Our people are ignorant of Satan's devices. All right. It's not the Most High's will that we be ignorant of Satan's devices. And he uses these holidays, all right, to put us at odds with the Most High. Right. Like we said previously in the beginning of this video, the Most High is not going to play second fiddle to anything in your life. So whatever you got ahead of the Most High, even if it's this holiday, all right, or the excuse you make that this is the only time you get to gather with family and so on and so forth, you have to understand, okay, that's all beautiful and all, but the creator of all things is more important than all of that, right? I think that was the underlying lesson the Most High wanted me to bring forward out of that. So without further ado, we're going to give shout outs. We're going to get up out of here. Brother Chick, thanks again, bro, for coming through as always and giving us that wisdom. Brother Emmanuel Bronson, thank you, brother, for being alive in the comment section. Sister Alice Bronson, Shabbat Shalom. Brother Jason, Sister Shanique Cameron, Shabbat Shalom to you. Sister Yasatari De La Paz, Shabbat Shalom to you. Sister Shiyata Yisrael, Shabbat Shalom. Sister Patrice Tribe Judah. Anybody I may have missed, Shabbat Shalom, Brother Eugene, you know what I'm saying? Salute. And everybody that's obeying the Most High's law, statutes, and commandments, honoring the Sabbath day, being not forgetful hearers, but doers of the same. Those who are hearing the word, okay, and doing the word. Shabbat Shalom to you as well. So with that being the case, we're going to go ahead and enjoy the rest of our Shabbat. We ask that you do the same. The Most High willing, we stay warm, okay? They predicted the power to get cut off, the internet to get cut off because of this heat this winter. I almost said heat. Woo, you know it's cold when I'm calling it heat. Yeah, but yeah, they said that a lot of things was about to happen. So let's keep those without in our prayers as well. There's a lot of people I read on Facebook without heat and without power. Okay, so let's keep them lifted up as well and let the Most High do his thing. But we're going to give him all the praise and glory that we are safe. Okay, and we're praying for all of our friends and family out there. But we're going to say Shabbat Shalom one more time, and we're going to get out of here. So Shabbat Shalom, man. Thank you, Brother Emmanuel. He said, awesome lesson. says, I've shared this message about Christmas for the past years before I left the church. Yep, I remember you was telling me that we gotta tell the truth, whether it fills the room or it clears it out. All right. But that's it though. Shabbat shalom, everybody.